Okay, can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great.
I'm
Good
going to
evening.
start. Thank you. Lindsay, we're ready to go.
Great. Good evening, everybody. I'd like to call to order the regular Inlands Wetlands meeting for September 21st. Lisa, could you please call the roll? It was
Okay,
working.
Lisa, I can call it for you. Commissioner Baha,
Here.
Commissioner Bedeker,
Here.
Commissioner Connors, Jim Connors, Commissioner Matthew Connors,
Here.
Commissioner David DeFlumery,
Here.
Commissioner Donaldson Gladue, Commissioner Mangan,
Here.
Commissioner Munson, Commissioner Panico,
Here.
Commissioner Tryon.
Lisa, can you make sure your audio works? I did see I just want to make sure your audio does work. We didn't hear you say anything.
Says it's on. Can you hear me now?
Now I can hear you.
Okay, I'll just be louder.
Yep, great. We've had some audio issues in the past. I just want to make sure to be clear. Great. Thanks, everybody. Thanks. Lisa, I know you're going to try to work on your technical issues because you're going to be taking.
Got it.
You got it. Okay, great. All right. Thanks, everybody. As a reminder, this meeting, in accordance with Governor Lamont's executive's orders and the Freedom of Information Act, is being recorded and will be made available on the City of Milford website, and it's being broadcast live on YouTube. During the meeting, if anybody from the applicants or public would like to speak, please raise your hand using the raise your hand feature in Zoom. And once you're recognized, when you're speaking for the first time, please announce your name for the record. Great. At this time, I'd like to invite everyone to please stand for the allegiance.
Sorry about that.
And we have a flag now.
There you go. Is that
Okay,
your-
join me. Oh, I don't see the flag yet.
It says it.
Okay, now it is.
Sorry.
I pledge
Pledge
allegiance
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
and
to the republic for which it stands,
One nation.
one nation, under God,
Indivisible.
with liberty
justice.
and justice for all.
Thanks, everybody. Next on the agenda, item C, public comments. Is there anyone here from the public wishing to speak on topics that are not otherwise on the agenda? Anyone wishing to speak on topics not otherwise on the agenda? Going a third time, anyone? Okay, moving on to item D. Mary Rose, do you want to introduce this section, old business? I believe we can review these matters as a group.
Yeah, so guys, I'm sorry, my mouse has taken on a life of its own. Well, alrighty then. Okay, give me 1 second, please. Is everyone still seeing the agenda?
We are seeing the agenda.
All right. Everything else seems to be having a little bit of an issue.
Take your time.
Thank you.
We've got some technical challenges tonight. And at this moment, your screen is frozen. So we'll just pause for a moment while Mary Rose rejoins. Yeah, Mary Rose must have lost internet connection. We'll give her a moment to rejoin. While we're waiting, just one reminder for Commissioner Connors and Commissioner Tryon, since you weren't at the last meeting, so long as you're familiar with the minutes and you're asking questions about the matter and receiving the information this evening on these matters, you can vote. Just make sure if you're not familiar with it to let us know, but encourage you to ask questions, any questions you may have during the process. Mary Rose is going to take us through the synopsis of the engineering assessment of the plans. So she just texted me, she's trying to rejoin. We'll just continue to wait for her to rejoin. Mary Rose, do you want me to unmute you?
Getting there. Sorry. The large screen froze, so oops.
No problem.
Okay.
We're patient, Vicky. I already mentioned to Lisa and to Matthew that if they have any questions, we would encourage them to ask those questions to familiarize themselves with the matters. So
Excellent. I apologize. Reclaim host. Got it. Okay, I'm the host again. On this machine, I do not have everything preloaded, so you're going to have to just give me a minute if you want to do any screen shares, or we might ask Bob to share his. So I apologize for
whichever is easier for you, Mary Rose.
All right. Apologize for the technical difficulties. Where I left off is the city engineer had responded to remarks from the last Friday's email or memo, and that was sent out to you this afternoon, and I can attempt to share that if you would like to read that now.
Yes, please.
Alrighty. A second, because we're going to have to get that open.
If it's helpful, I can share it too.
If you have it, you may be able to do it quicker because I'm going to have to get into that drive.
Yeah, one moment.
Just allow. Oops.
While you're figuring that out, I do have one question.
Sure.
I read over everything, and I was just curious what cut sheets are.
I can answer that.
Good question.
So before a material is approved for use on a product, the contractor submits the shop drawing, cut sheet, a description of the product. It gets reviewed by the engineer, city engineer, the owner. And then it gets processed, either approved or approved with comments or rejected into. So that's what it is.
Sure, sure. Mayor Rose, do you want me to share that memo from the city engineer?
Yes, please.
Okay, let me know if you guys can see that.
I can.
Is it legible? Is it big enough for everyone?
Yes.
It's good.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll let you speak to it, Mary Rose.
All right. So city engineers typically, as you move down, he cites what the application is and then what items he reviewed. And then if in this case, he's giving a 1-for-1 response. Mr. Tedeschi's memo, item 1, noted that I had asked for 2 sets of plans. They had been submitted. And so the city engineer has no action. Item 2, we had asked for 2 copies of technical specs. They've been submitted. No actions required on the city engineer's part other than to have those and use them for review. Item 3, Mr. Podolski agreed with Mr. Tedeschi's calculations for a compliance with MS4 for stormwater. Item 4, city engineer would like long-term understanding of what the stabilization is going to be for that 5-foot clearing area proposed around the Watrous Lane pump station. If you remember, the Watrous Lane pump station is kind of covered around by trees that have kind of overgrown, and they've weed whacked around the fence, but there's no real easy way to ensure that the trees or nothing falls on the fence when the generator or the pump station's most needed in a time without power. So they're asking for a 5-foot area to clear the vegetation to keep that safe. And city engineer just wants to know how that's going to be stabilized in the long run. Typically on most stations, the wastewater department will go in on a regular basis and just weed whack and keep things down so you don't get large woody vegetation that close to the station. Number 5, similar to and in line with questions the agency had at the last meeting, city engineer wants to understand that all measures are in place to protect in case there's any failures when they're doing any dewatering or pumping around the station while the station is down for repairs. Item 6 is wants to ensure there's appropriate sedimentation, dewatering. There's sediments removed from the dewatering operation so that any discharges to streams and water courses are clean. I think dirt bags have been specified by Mr. Tedeschi or best management practices per the manual. Cut sheets was just answered. There are shop drawings to keep up with how manners and means and methods are going to be done. Number 8, really nothing for the city engineer to comment on. And the timeline again is appropriate per what the Mr. Tedeschi thinks will take the applicant or the consultants to contractors to do the work, given the lead time for products at this time.
Thank you, Mary Rose. Any further discussion on this? Any questions from the agency? All clear?
I guess through you, Mr. Chair, just one question. So
Sure.
Are we just waiting on the outstanding things due to the engineer at this point? Or have they been submitted?
Through you, Mr. Chair, the majority of the items have been submitted. There's some things, the drawings we have are 90% drawings. They were waiting for input from this agency and others to finalize some things. I had a conversation with the city engineer this afternoon, and he's comfortable with the things that he has asked for to be included as a condition of approval so that they come in prior to the permit being taken out. I spoke with Mr. Tedeschi this afternoon, and he wholeheartedly agreed. They're going out to bid on this soon, and they'll have all those things ready in a short period of time.
Thank you, Mary Rose. Mr. Tedeschi, is there anything you'd like to add for the record?
No, we did receive the comments this afternoon, and we will incorporate all those comments from the city engineer, and we will resubmit stamp drawings that show us addressing those comments and answering any outstanding questions.
Thank you. Is there anything else, Mr. King, you would like to add to the record this time?
No, I don't really have anything to add to the record. Thank you.
Okay. So Mary Rose, could you give us some guidance on, is there any additional information we need to consider, or shall we?
No, I mean, those were, that answers the city engineer questions in the notes. Those were the similar questions and kind of a synopsis that the city engineer is comfortable with all those items we had concerns about on each individual pump station. That documentation is in the file. It's in our notes for the meeting. Each of my notes, similar to last week, has the highlights of what's happening at each station, which we reviewed at the last meeting. We are required, if the agency does deem to make motions this evening, to make individual motions for each station. I did not calculate bonds for each station at this time because I was waiting to see what the back and forth was with the city engineer, but that can be accomplished by the end of the week or beginning of next week.
Great, Mary Rose, thank you. At this time, does the agency feel you have enough information to render a motion to approve or to deny? Or do you want to take no action? Do you require additional information? I'm looking for some input from the team.
Through you, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Mr. Connors.
Since we are still currently waiting for the engineer to receive some of the the satisfactory terms that he requested, right, Mary Rose, or?
The things he's looking for are I guess I would call them minor submittals. They are, hold on a second while I try to open them up again and go through what he wanted. Bob, I don't know if you have, Mr. Tedeschi, I don't know if you have any input on this for the agency. The items he was looking for are minor. He was looking for a stamp and a seal on the plans. That's standard. And these plans are marked 90% draft because they were waiting for any updates that this agency would like to see. We wouldn't issue permits out of the office without having final construction drawings that have a stamp and seal on them. He was looking for additional erosion controls shown around the stations to not really anti-track pads because stations are too small to fit a standard anti-track pad. But he was looking for notation that if there are issues on the site with erosion controls getting off site or sedimentation getting off site, that they would sweep the street or do what is necessary to keep sedimentation out of the local catch basins.
So in your opinion, should we wait for that those answers to be stamped and sent in, or do you feel comfortable with us taking action in terms of moving forward?
I'm comfortable that we've worked with the applicant to get the items that the agency needs and the city engineer needs onto the plans to do what we need to do to protect the resources. I don't believe that waiting is going to really change much. Those plans will probably be coming in the next couple of weeks because they're going out to bid in October.
Gotcha.
And that's consistent with precedent. I just want to make a note for the record. Mr. James Connors has joined the meeting.
Yeah, my computer took a fit.
We've had some technical issues this evening. You're not the only one.
Oh, okay.
So we're at the point in the meeting where we've discussed the salient input, the changes in the documentation that's been submitted, i.e. the engineering's comments. We've reviewed those, and at this point, I'm asking for deliberation from the agency as to whether there's additional information required, or if the agency is inclined to make a motion. If we are inclined to make a motion, we do have to motion each of these applications separately, in favor or opposed, whichever.
I don't have the motions to make them. I didn't, because of the problems, so.
Okay. Yeah, so in typical fashion, we have all the motions drafted in a kind of a menu format. So before we start the reading of the motion, is there a suggestion? Is there feedback from the agency?
I feel comfortable moving to approve, and if that's what Mary Rose recommends.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Connors. Any other input?
I think we have all the information we need, and I think we should go forward.
Thank you, Commissioner Tryon. Appreciate that. Any other comments, thoughts? Mr.
I
Peck?
agree to move forward with the same decision.
Okay. I'm in agreement with that. I think that the projects are very important for the resiliency for the city and for and the design has taken into account all of our concerns. So I'm a proponent of moving forward.
I agree.
Who would be willing to read the draft motions? Is that something, Mary Rose, you want to do, or Mr. Panico, would you like to be volunteered, or Mr. Bedeker?
I'm through you, Mr. Chair. I'm happy to do it if the agency would like. You
Why
just
don't
need to tell me what motions you would like.
Why don't we have you do it, since you've got them, you have them handy, or,
I do.
okay.
Yeah, I don't have it handy, sorry.
Yeah, let's go ahead with the motion. Sounds like, who's willing to make the motion, and then Mary Rose will read it for us.
I'll make the motion, and Mary Rose can read it.
Very good.
Okay, my understanding is the agency's looking for a motion to approve.
Yes,
And that motion states, Mr. Chairman, after duly considering all relevant factors, I move to approve application IW A 22-0077 25 Sailors Lane based on the plans entitled Technical Specifications, City of Milford, Connecticut, Sewer Commission, Wastewater Pumping Station Upgrades #1, various locations by Weston and Sampson, Inc., 23 sheets dated September 2022, noted 90% submittal. The information in the file and presented this evening for the following reason. The action will not have an impact or effect on the physical characteristics of the adjacent wetland water courses, with conditions including the permittee or their contractor must submit a construction plan prior to taking out the permit. Compliance with the city engineer's requirements as stated in his memo received 9/21/22. A bond to be calculated must be posted with the MIWA for S&E controls. I apologize. And an as-built drawing showing finished 2-foot contours and locating all site structures. best management practices and notifications of adverse impact in construction or maintaining any structure or facility or conducting any activity authorized herein. The permittee shall employ best management practices to control stormwater discharges, sanitary sewer overflows, and to prevent erosion and sedimentation, and to otherwise prevent pollution of wetlands and watercourses. Best management practices include, but are not limited to, practices identified on the site plans and in the Connecticut guidelines for soil erosion and sedimentation control as revised 2004 Connecticut Storm Water Quality Manual. And the permittee must submit a certification by the project engineer that the completed project meets the design intent of the approval prior to bonds being released. The permit is issued 9/21/22 and expires 9/21/27 unless otherwise provided by statute. That is the motion.
Thank you. We have a motion made by Mr. Jim Connors. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second from Matthew Connors. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, Lisa, roll call vote.
Ranjit Bahav,
Yes.
Daniel Bedecker,
Yes.
Jim Connors,
yes,
Matthew Connors,
Yes.
Dave DeFlameri,
Yes.
Jerry Panico,
Aye.
Lisa Tryon,
Aye.
Brendan Magnan.
Aye. Thank you. The motion carries unanimously. Moving on to item D2, that's IW 22078-705 New Haven Avenue. And this is consistent with the summation we discussed earlier. Does anyone feel that we need more information, or are we prepared to make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, we have a motion. Mary Rose, do you want to read it?
Sure. Mr. Chairman, after duly considering all relevant factors, move to approve application IW 220078-705 New Haven Avenue based on the plans entitled Technical Specifications, City of Milford Sewer Commission, Wastewater Pumping Station Upgrades, #1, various locations by Weston and Sampson, Inc., 23 sheets dated September 2022, noted 90% submittal. The information in the file and presented this evening for the following reasons. This action will not have an impact or effect on the physical characteristics of the adjacent wetland and watercourses. With conditions including the permittee or the contractor must submit a construction plan prior to taking out the permit, compliance with the city engineer's requirements as stated in his memo received 9/21/22. A bond to be calculated must be posted with the MIWA for S&E controls and as-built showing finished contour, 2-foot contours, and locating all site structures. Best management practices and notification of adverse impact in constructing or maintaining any structure or facility or conducting any activity authorized herein. The permittee shall employ best management practices to control stormwater discharges, sanitary sewer overflows, and to prevent erosion and sedimentation, and to otherwise prevent pollution of wetlands and watercourses. Best management practice include, but are not limited to, practices identified on the site plans and in the Connecticut guidelines for soil erosion and sedimentation control as revised 2004 and the Connecticut Stormwater Quality Manual. The permittee must submit a certificate by the project engineer that the completed project meets the design intent of the approval prior to bonds being released. The permit is issued 9/21/22 and expires 9/21/27 unless otherwise provided by statute.
That is your motion. That is the motion.
That is the motion. Sorry.
Thank you. We have a motion by Mr. Connors. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second from Mr. DeFlameri. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Lisa, roll call vote, please.
Bahav,
Aye.
Daniel Bedecker,
Aye.
Jim Connors,
aye,
Matthew Connors,
Aye.
Dave DeFlameri,
Yes.
Jerry Panico,
Aye.
Lisa Tryon,
Aye.
Brendan Magnan.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, everyone. Moving on to the next similar application. This is IW 22078, 85 Live Oaks Road. Consistent with our deliberation on the group of applications, is there a prerogative to make a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
I can also read the motion to save Mary Rose if needed.
By all means, go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, after duly considering all relevant factors, I move to approve application IW 22-0079, 43 Watrous.
Oops, I think we're on 85, aren't we?
We are
You're
on,
right, you're right. Sorry about that.
no, we're on
We're on-
22-079.
Oh,
Item
What's the
D3.
third one?
We're on the third. I'm ahead. Sorry. Are you
Okay.
sure? I'm sorry.
yeah.
I thought we were on 85 live.
Live Oaks Road is the last application.
Sorry, I jumped ahead. My
No worries.
apologies. You were
Do you want
correct.
me to reread or start?
Why don't you restart just to make it clear?
Mr. Chairman, after duly considering all relevant factors, I move to approve application IW 22-0079, 43 Watrous Lane, based on the plans entitled Technical Specifications, City of Milford, Connecticut, Sewer Commission, Wastewater Pumping Station Upgrades Number 1, various locations by Weston and Sampson Incorporated, 23 sheets dated September 2022, noted 90% submittal, the information in the file and presented this evening for the following reasons. This action will not have an impact or effect on the physical characteristics of the adjacent wetlands and watercourses, with conditions including the permittee of their contractor must submit a construction plan prior to taking out the permit, compliance with the city engineer's requirements as stated in his memo received 9/21/22. A bond to be calculated must be posted with the MIWA for S&E controls, border plannings, wetland boundary markers, and an as-built showing finished 2 contours and locating all site structures. Best management practices and notifications of adverse impact in constructing or maintaining any structure or facility or conducting any activity authorized herein. The permittee shall employ best management practices to control stormwater discharges, sanitary sewer overflows, and to prevent erosion and sedimentation, and to otherwise prevent pollution of wetlands and watercourses. Best management practices include, but are not limited to, practices identified on the site plans and in the Connecticut Guidelines for Soil Erosion and Sedimentation Control as revised 2004 Connecticut Stormwater Quality Manual. The permittee must submit a certification by the project engineer that the completed project meets the design intent of the approval prior to bonds being released. The permit is issued 9/21/22, expires 9/21/27, unless otherwise provided by the statute. That is my motion.
Thank you, Commissioner Connors. Well read. Do we have a second on the motion?
I'll second.
I believe Mr. DeFlamari seconded it. Who was the person that made the motion originally?
I did. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I can't make it and second it too.
You testing me tonight?
Not too confused here.
Okay, Lisa, please call the roll.
Ranjit Bahav,
Aye.
Daniel Better,
Aye.
Jim Connors,
Aye.
Matthew Connors,
Aye.
Dave DeFlamari,
Aye.
Jerry Panico,
Aye.
Lisa Tryon,
Aye.
Brendan Magnan.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, everyone. Moving on to IW 220075, that's 85 Live Oaks Road. Consistent with the deliberation on the other matters, is there a person who would like to make a motion to
I'll
approve?
make the motion, sir.
Mr. Connors? Mr. Matthew Connors, would you like to
Sure.
read the motion?
Mr. Chairman, after duly considering all relevant factors, I move to approve application IW-22-0075, 85 Live Oaks Road, based on the plans entitled Technical Specifications, City of Milford, Connecticut, Sewer Commission, Wastewater Pumping Stations Upgrades Number 1, various locations by Weston and Sampson Incorporated, 23 sheets dated September 2022, noted 90% submittal, the information in the file and presented this evening for the following reasons. This action will not have an impact or effect on the physical characteristics of the adjacent wetlands and watercourses, with conditions including the permittee or their contractor must submit a construction plan prior to taking out the permit, compliance with the city engineer's requirements as stated in his memo received 9/21/2022. A bond to be calculated must be posted with the MIWA for S&E controls, border plantings, wetland boundary markers, and as-built showing finished is that 2-inch? I'm sorry, I can't.
2 foot.
2-foot contours and locating all site structures. Best management practices and notifications of adverse impact in constructing or maintaining any structure or facility or conducting any activity authorized herein. The permittee shall employ best management practices to control stormwater discharges, sanitary sewer overflows, and to prevent erosions and sedimentation, and to otherwise prevent pollution of wetlands and watercourses. Best management practices include, but are not limited to, practices identified on the site plans and in the Connecticut Guidelines for Soil Erosion and Sedimentation Control as revised, 2004 Connecticut Stormwater Quality Manual. The permittee must submit a certification by the project engineer that completed project meets the design intent of the approval prior to bonds being released. The permit is issued 9/21/22, expires 9/21/27, unless otherwise provided by statute. That is my motion.
Thank you, Mr. Connors. You have a second on the motion. Oh, we already have a second. Sorry. Been a long night. Any discussion on the motion? No further discussion. Lisa, roll call vote.
Ranjit Pav,
Aye.
Daniel Bedecker,
Aye.
excuse me, Jim Connors,
Aye.
Matthew Connors,
Aye.
Dave DeFlameri,
Aye.
Jerry Panico,
Aye.
Lisa Tryon.
Aye.
Brendan Magnan.
Aye. The motion carries unanimously.
Who seconded that?
Mr. D. Flameri, I believe.
Okay.
Great. I think we have now reviewed the group of applications. Mary Rose, did we?
Yes, we have gone through all 4 pump stations. The 5th one was approved as a jurisdictional ruling at the last meeting. So the applications portions of the agenda has been completed.
Thank you. To the applicants, good luck on the projects. Thanks very much for coming before us and presenting the information as you have and working with us on all the deliberations. Appreciate it.
Great. Thank you.
Bob,
Thank
we'll
you.
have
Appreciate
those letters and conditions to you by the end of the week, beginning of next week.
That'd be great. That'd be great. Thank you very much.
Okay, moving on to the next agenda item. I believe it's item F. Going from my notes. That would be consideration of the previous minutes. So those were sent out. Do we have a motion to accept the minutes from September 7th as presented?
I'll make the motion.
We have a motion. We have a second.
Second, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chair, yes. 1 second. I don't know that you can second something because you weren't in attendance. Were you, Mr. DeFamari?
No.
Forgive me.
I second that.
Yeah, it's gone from recollection. Sorry. Yeah. Okay, Mr. Panico, thank you. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Sorry, Lisa, please call the roll.
Ranjit Pav,
Aye.
Daniel Bedecker,
Aye.
Jim Connors,
Aye.
Matthew Connors,
Abstain.
Dave DeFlameri,
Abstain.
Jerry Panico,
Aye.
Lisa Tryon,
Abstain.
Brendan Magnan.
Aye. Thank you, everyone. Moving on, Mary Rose, do you want to do a staff report?
Sure. We continue to be busy with complaints and inquiries. We've had a number of folks inquiring about new houses they're getting and wetlands and such around them and things they want to do, small projects of late, and bond release requests and some minor reviews. We're also working, as I told you at the last meeting, on the hazard mitigation plan and the community, the CRS for FEMA flood projects. I've left the links for training courses and such. I'll always leave those in my notes. So if you need to get them, you can click on them. If you do get a certificate, please forward it to me. As I said at the last meeting, the Cackwick meeting will be live and in person in North Haven, near the North Haven Fairgrounds. I'm not sure what the hotel is called these days. It used to be a Ramada Inn. That'll be on Saturday, the 30th of October. And as soon as that opens up for reservations, I will let you know and send it out so you can let us know who wants to attend, and we will make we will register you. If you were able to after the last meeting, thank you. If you have not as of yet, there's a link in the notes to the hazard mitigation plan update. It's about a 15-minute survey that would be very nice if board members could fill out for me. Thank you. Below that, we've got the status of our applications. The car wash at 1553 Boston Post Road that we approved earlier this summer is moving along. Their ENS is in. They've done a good job. It's nice and stable. They did well in the rainstorms recently. The new outfall that we approved has been put in that area of that has been riprap and stabilized. So they're moving along quickly. 690 New Haven Avenue, their foundations are in, their galley systems are in. They've got wood going up on the first building. They've had some storm damage from trees that were not proposed to be originally removed, but are now they're having issues. I met with the contractor, I'm sorry, the permittee and his tree folks last week, and there were several more trees that needed to be taken down. They were going to damage either the building or other trees in the area. Other than that, we should be getting monitoring reports for a few sites in the next few weeks, and we're waiting on a couple of final reviews. And that's all I have. Our next meeting is October 5th.
Great, thanks, Mary Rose. Thank you, everyone, for, moving on to chair's report. Thanks, everyone, for the active participation and all your prep and review of the materials that we reviewed or that came before us this evening and during the last meeting and in between. Your time is much appreciated, and your participation in the meeting I appreciate. So thank you. And as Mary Rose says, October 5th is the next meeting. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Do we
1 second.
Okay. Roll call vote.
Ranjit Bahav.
Aye.
Daniel Bedecker,
Aye.
Jim Connors,
Aye.
Matthew Connors,
Aye.
Dave DeFlameri,
Aye.
Jerry Panico,
Aye.
Lisa Tryon.
Aye.
Brendan Magnan.
Aye. Okay, the meeting is adjourned. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for being patient this evening.
Thank you very much
Thank
for
you so
being
much.
patient.
Have a good night.
Thank you, everybody.
Aye.
Bye, Rose.
Lindsay, we're all set.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mary Rose, could you just stay on for a minute, see if I can join?
Sure.
Okay, thanks.